What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Jack Ramsays Postgame Show. Danny Meringue, Brandon Sprague, Portland Trailblazers fall courageously 115-109 to the Miami Heat. Welcome. Well, I'm an idiot, and I didn't change my little drop down here. I grabbed the pregame and not the postgame. There we go. I knew I forgot something. There we go. Professionalism at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. Changing on the fly. Okay. First of all, welcome in. Appreciate you. You can find us anywhere you get podcasts. If you're watching here live on YouTube or on the replay, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Help us grow the show, grow the channel. We are back on track. About ready to crack 2,300, on our way to 3,000, which is insane to think about.
Let's go.
But thank you all. It's because of you that this all works. I'll tell you what, Anfernee Simons is why the Blazers work at all right now. We'll get to that here in a little bit. Obviously, the story of the night is going to be the ejections. Kyle Lowry, Ejected, Jusuf Nurkic. Yeet!
I disagree with you. I thought the story was Anfernee Simons.
Oh, there you go. See, I'm trying to bury it a little bit. I can't hype up my guy every time. I need everybody else to kind of do it for me. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's like, well, he does have his picture on the wall. He does talk to him.
He dropped a career high in his last game, 43. Got him a win. Matched Trae Young. And he followed that up.
Word for word.
And he followed that up by shooting 50% from three on 10 attempts and getting 28 points tonight. He wasn't perfect, but damn, did he have a really nice follow-up game. And that was the most important thing for me tonight. I am done with the what's it going to take to win the game. I kind of hope they lose these games. It's these moments. I know you appreciate this as much as anybody. And that was my biggest takeaway. Anfernee Simons, that third quarter, he had 20.
Is 20 good? Is 20 and a quarter, is that good, Brandon?
20 and a quarter is good. And I know when you do it in one quarter, people expect you to do a lot more in other quarters. But he's still a young player, and he finished with 28 and got Portland back in that ball game. Quite frankly, they were getting beat down. And
offense was a dumpster fire in the first half.
Yeah, and they either tied it or pulled within two. So he had a big third, and it was fun to watch him. He was the story of the night.
Yeah, story of the night. It is obviously Anfernee Simons. There is an asterisk. Kyle Lowry was too much, I think, for Ant early on, and the Blazers. I thought their game plan tonight sucked pretty fiercely in the first half. There was all this talk about going to Jusuf Nurkic and getting him more involved. I think he's probably a little bit gassed and still dealing with some ramifications from COVID, because there was a ton of times tonight where he just stood there.
It was kind of just lazy looking Nurkic. Not to suggest he's lazy. It could have been COVID, but it was kind of that look.
He played 33 minutes, which
it's a lot of minutes for that big guy without COVID.
Without COVID. 24, 25 is kind of the sweet spot when he's kind of feeling good. So, props to him if he's battling through that. His effectiveness was rather limited at times. What did the final rebound count end up being?
He finished with 13.
The team.
50
to 36. They got their asses kicked on the boards.
Yeah.
And a big part of that was Nurk and Nas. Nas got caught sleeping a few times too. Not keeping bodies on guys.
Well, I mean, Nas had at the end there, he had a rebound in a big spot, and it just it got it taken away from him. Yurtseven, he played Nurk. Goatseven, he played Nurk really well. 16 boards tonight. You want to point to a lot of things. PJ Tucker was active on glass, and that Gertseven guy.
Yeah, 14, 16, and 4 in 32 minutes.
That's a really good number for a guy like that, and that is a.
And that's not the first time he's done that either. He actually had a night earlier this season where he had 27 rebounds.
Well, that's exactly why they won the rebounding battle tonight. He was active on the glass.
He's very, very active. And Eric Vendel says, shouldn't they be able to run pick and roll to get Lowry off Ant? So they attempted to do a little bit of that, but what the Heat do is they trap and they blitz, and they do it with big bodies who are very good defensively, i.e. PJ Tucker.
Yes, athletic, bigger wings.
You run an Ant Nance pick and roll, you're putting Kyle Lowry and PJ Tucker in the pick and roll.
Yeah,
that's suboptimal. Sure. I love Ant. I am very high on his ceiling. He has a loose handle, and you do not want to have a loose handle around those guys. Ant only finished with one turnover today, which is incredible. And that one turnover is when he tried to take and string a pick and roll out against Kyle Lowry, and Lowry was like, Yeah, it's not happening, bud. And he knocked the ball away from him.
Danny, that's so far been my biggest criticism of Ant.
His handle?
It was the handle. We talked about this in the preseason. I forget who they're playing, but he had a couple moments where it was just too loose. It was getting poked away too easy. There's the one thing I was like, okay, we'll see how that goes throughout the season. It's the one area he can still get better at. Well, there's a couple, but that's one area that I would circle and say, keep that a little closer, a little tighter. It takes away from any potential big plays the other team's going to get.
Yeah, but overall, like I don't want to knock Simons. Like that's the one like caveat for his night. 9 of 17, 5 of 10 from 3, 5 of 5 from the line. His shooting at the free throw line has improved too. That's a good sign. 7 assists, only 1 turnover. So that's back-to-back games with over 25 and 7.
Yeah,
taking good care of the ball. Like that's in 39 minutes. He only had 17 shots. And shout out Holdall. He said what I've been yelling about for a while now, which is in the second half, Ant should get at least a third of the Blazers' shots. And I was just like, all of them. Because it was to the point where
all of them, Casey. Like, what are we doing?
The first half, Ant was almost a non-factor, and you do have to credit Lowry and Miami and their defense with that, but also like Nurk was trying to quasi-run the offense. Norm was trying to run more of the offense, and that's just not what they can do.
Yeah.
And it was ugly. It was really ugly. Norm started the game off 1 of 8. I saw somebody here say they were a little surprised in Norm. Okay, it was Bob says, I'm also a little disappointed in Norm, as I thought he would have been better with CJ has been out. I pushed back on that a little bit. Norm struggled tonight, started off 1 of 8, finished 7 of 18, had 26, 3 and 1. That's back-to-back.
6 for 10 after a 1 and 8 start. Yeah.
Back-to-back games where Norm is being firmly put in the role of get shots, be a play ender, where the difference between Portland winning and losing has been Anfernee Simons' aggressiveness or finding a way to get him more involved. The Blazers' offense, even when it breaks down with Ant as the primary initiator, looks better when a guy who can dribble, pass, and shoot is initiating the offense.
I think when your roster is middle of the road to bad, Norm is way overpaid. I think if your roster has a healthy Damian Lillard and is a little more filled out, Norm Powell is a good player to have on your team. Not to suggest, again, he's not good now, but just to kind of highlight the difference here. I don't think he's a guy that we need to be looking at and saying, I know we got the $90 million contract. That means he should be doing X and Y.
You got to have the pieces around him to make it make sense.
Yeah, I think he's one of those cogs in a piece and one of those kind of guys more so than, hey, you're down a player or 3. Norm Powell's going to carry you. I just don't know if he's that kind of player, but I think he fits in with a good roster. I do.
Jusuf Nurkic just retweeted Evan Turner. Evan Turner on Twitter said, let us sleeping beast lie and just keep it hoop. If you're not 7 foot and 300 pounds, just make sure you sign a waiver before you roll those dice.
You know who doesn't have a boxing video out there? Jusuf Nurkic.
Oh, he does.
No, he doesn't.
Oh yeah, he does. He works out with Sem.
Oh, he does?
Oh, yeah.
He works out at Dame's gym?
Yeah, he works at Lions Den.
Oh, man, I didn't know. I was going to say, well, Bosnian people don't put their stuff on Twitter.
Yeah, Nurk mostly just puts his like IG workout stuff. But no, Nurk trains with Sem.
Does he look good?
Yes, he looks significantly more fluid of a boxer than Tyler Herro's.
Okay, I was going to say it's got to be better. How about the uppercut?
The straight arm uppercut was what really got me in that video. Throw me in a ring with Tyler, and I will Jake Paul his ass.
You don't even need to Jake Paul his ass. I bet you he would break his hand trying to punch.
I
promise you.
Probably. But yeah, that's it. That's. I mean, screw it. Let's get into it. After watching the replay, Nurk left a little extra in there and stood over him a little bit. Live action didn't look like it. It looked like he was just screen, looked down like, that sucks, and then kind of went out about his business. He left a little extra in there, little look down for him. But yeah. I had this discussion with another NBA reporter a little bit ago. I get really tired of little guys leaving their hand up there, talking a whole bunch of just cash shit when they get switched on the big and they cross him over or they hit him with a step back and then little shoulder shimmy. guess what? If the 7', 300-pound dude, if you get to show how fast and how quick and explosive you are, you know what the 7', 300-pounder gets to do? He gets to show you what grown-ass man shit is, which means your big man better let you know about it.
Yeah.
Steven Adams crushing
it's no
Danny
different.
Lillard.
Danny, I don't think it's any different than when a pitcher gets a dude on a strikeout and he goes back to the dugout. The dude gets him and goes yard the next at bat.
Listen, Jose Bautista comes up there and just pimps it off the bat.
And then suddenly it's a problem. It's like, wait a minute.
No, exactly.
You struck him out 2 innings ago and you can fist pump and Tiger Woods celebrate. But if this dude goes yard, he can't toss his bat. Be like, hell yeah.
No, Fernando Tatis that shit every time.
Yes, every single time.
Every single time. I want to see you ride it around like Pedro Serrano. But yeah, I get tired of bigs. Like, honestly, Shaq got screwed throughout most of his career as far as fouls. Like, they just wouldn't call fouls for a long period of time. He got the shit kicked out of him. Sabonis was also a victim of this too because they're just so big. And you know what? Drop stepping a guy into another dimension and keeping that elbow up there, guess what they're not going to do next time? You know what Tyler Herro's not going to do next time? He's not going to put that elbow out and go into a screen because Nurk's going to flatten him.
Well, he could also just not. Yeah, he could also just not be a bitch. I mean,
keep your head up.
Yes. Well, honestly, it wasn't a dirty screen.
He just crushed him.
I hate it. Ron Artest said this the other day. He was talking about Shaq, and he said Shaq, it's travesties. Shaq got fouled so many times.
Mm-hmm.
It's Shaq. He's not moving. Like, they're not going to call it. And he basically was like, LeBron said the same stuff. Like, LeBron is so strong that people hit him and he doesn't move or flinch. He gets a layup. And it's just like, well, we didn't give him that call because it doesn't look like a foul.
No, because they're freaks.
Yeah.
But Herro running across the court and shoving a dude in the middle of the back when he doesn't see you coming, that's just like Jokic. I'll say it plainly. It's bitch shit.
Yeah, it's not. It shouldn't be in the game.
Honestly, if Nurk actually turned around and hauled off and crushed him in the face, wouldn't have bothered me.
Yeah, when you get whiplash push like that.
Markieff Morris is out right now because of what Jokic did to him.
Yeah.
A month ago.
And Jokic only got suspended, what, a game?
A game. I hate that stuff. I hate it. Was Nurk innocent in this? No. Of course not. It's Nurk. He's never going to be innocent.
Hold on. I'm not saying that they didn't exchange pleasantries throughout the game.
Oh, I'm talking about leaving a little something extra into it and kind of stepping over him.
You mean after you put him to the ground?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's not entirely innocent, but
to me that wasn't enough.
No, that's kind of where I'm at too. It was like, no, listen, if you want to wait till there's a stoppage and go chest to chest with him, cool.
It's kind of just, to me, it's like, is he punking him a little bit? Sure, but like that, I feel like if you've ever played basketball, sometimes that just happens.
I'll tell you right now, I'm a large human being, and a lot of times in pickup runs, I got put hilariously as a point guard at a 5 because most of the guys that are at 24-hour fitness are between 5'8" and 5'10", and by virtue of being a whopping 5'11", I'm a center. And I can't tell you how many times I had to hold guys because they didn't see me, 240, 250 pounds when they're a high school kid or something like that. I'm home on leave and they don't see me. And I literally would grab somebody and be like, listen, man. They get a little irritated and I'm like, listen, here's your choices. I could have grabbed you like I did, or I couldn't have grabbed you and I would have knocked your ass on the floor. Like, which one of these did you want it to be? Like, you can get irritated that I stood you up and kind of held you, or you can get mad. It's just...
I mean, who didn't almost fight 8 different times playing basketball? It's the best place to never fight, but to almost fight.
I threw a guy who turned into an NBA player at a local Northwest college. I threw him into a wall because he wouldn't keep his elbows down. I told him, do it one more time. I'm at that wall over there. I'm going to throw you into it. He tried to rip through a move and caught me right below the eye. And I twisted up his jersey, picked him up, and threw him into the wall. And his dad was there watching and came and grabbed him, took him out of there. So, not to sit here and tell all war stories, but I don't think there was much in it for Nurk. But what I'm saying is, it wasn't entirely innocent. But Herro overreacted by a mile.
Yeah,
a mile. When you push a guy in the back like this, it drives me absolutely insane. Drives me absolutely bonkers. I don't know. It's just, it is what it is. So I don't know. They'll probably both get a game.
Oh, I don't think they get a game. I bet you they'll get $50,000 or something like that. That's it.
After the Jokic more stuff, I think it's going to be a game. Push from behind, and because Nurk brought the hand up to the face.
Okay. Beer bet?
Okay, we'll beer bet.
Beer bet. Okay.
If anything,
these guys don't really get in trouble.
Huh?
I think there's the difference.
The league wants to sweep it under the rug.
Yeah, well, I know there's it was somewhat similar, but Jokic was more egregious to me. Like, Jokic was a full-on running up shove, whereas like Herro took a few steps up on him, you know what I mean? Like, and he's a smaller dude, and Nurkic didn't really like punch him. He kind of like slapped his face. I don't know. I just think the league's gonna find him and try to move on from it, because these guys don't really. This isn't who they are all the time, you know.
Well, I don't know. I think they're both kind of assholes.
Well, Nurkic is kind of.
They both are.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
And that's where I was kind of like, they both kind of have reputations of riding those lines.
Yeah, they love to ride the line. Yeah. There's no doubt.
I mean, that's kind of what it is. I've got some people in here that aren't agreeing with me.
On what?
Come on, Danny. It's a soft take. No, Danny, you tripping? Listen. I don't.
On what take?
On the Herro Nurkic stuff.
That Herro was a bitch?
Like, I'm fully on board. Like, did Nurk put a little extra into it? Yeah, he did. But I don't think that it deserved the reaction that Tyler gave it.
That part of it. Yeah, I slight pushback on that too. I saw that play 4 different times. I didn't really think he deserved anything for Herro to react that way.
No, not in that manner. No. Like, if you, it's
like, if that was me, I would have just, if I could, and I wasn't just like dead from hitting his body, I just get up, go play basketball. Like, just get up and go play.
Yeah, it was a little weird. But it gave us something fun and different to talk about.
Well, the game itself was like, you know, he looked like they're about to blow him out, go up by 25, and this was going to be ugly.
And then you had the Ant third quarter. And
then Ant went off in the third quarter, and they came back. And it was
a little accordion game.
Yeah. Right.
You know? Right. Listen, if we get accordion games the rest of the season, that's fine.
The Cleveland game's going to be this way.
They're
going to be down, and then Cleveland's going to blow a lead, and then Portland will blow that comeback. Like, that's probably what it's going to be for them in most of these matchups.
I would very much sign up for knowing that they are going to lose the majority of their games, but have it be remotely competitive at times, closing down the stretch, final 5 minutes. Like, oh, maybe.
Sure.
Just a little flicker of hope that just dies out. A little whisper in the end, but you've got some fun points. You've got a Norman Powell night. You've got an Anfernee Simons night. You've got a Nasir Little night. You got Greg Brown coming in because somebody else is in COVID protocols or something stupid like that. Jake from YouTube says, "Hey, one thing is for sure, this game was definitely entertaining."
Yes.
Yeah,
it was.
It's entertaining. Which is such a stark contrast to what we've had for the majority of the season. And I think a big part of that is that what? Who are the guys that are on the floor right now?
Yeah.
You got guys with a lot more juice and a lot more energy. I think a big part of of Dame's struggles has been his injury. CJ, just, I don't know, man.
It's a bad year for CJ. It is
in general.
Yeah.
Cove is on the kind of what looks like maybe a career down slope. Nance hasn't fit in as well as we'd all hoped.
Nurkic has not had the offense he thought he was going to get, and that hasn't sat well with him.
Yeah, all the promises and stuff like that, and throwing Terry under the bus because he was the reason that he couldn't do these things, and everything has kind of gone as sideways as you could have imagined. But there's still, what I'm trying to say is there's still like redemptive qualities in this season.
Yeah.
And that I wasn't sure how possible or plausible that was going to be. Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense. But I think once all the noise went away and kind of died down, and injuries kind of took hold on a couple guys. I think you could kind of see some light through the storm clouds, like you still knew there was rain in. Like today I went on a run, and for like 10 minutes on my run, the sun came out and I was like, that's, and I knew it wasn't going to last. I knew the clouds were cover back up and rain again, but I was like, that's kind of nice. It's kind of what we're at now, right now. It's like we're in the middle of the rainstorm. We know, and we kind of know how it's going to all end, but like sometimes you get some sunlight poking through. It's a nice relief.
So speaking of relief, Hyken asked, I believe it was Hyken that asked, Anfernee postgame, Anfernee was at the podium, on this potential for the extended role of Dame Lillard was out for a while. Ant says, I've got people that believe in me. I know Dame will be helping me every step of the way. I think I'll be ready for it. And so somebody I know who is very, very familiar with both Dame and Ant once told me that, did you ever hear the Dean Smith quote on Michael Jordan?
Which one?
The only thing that could stop Michael Jordan is Dean Smith.
It's Dean Smith.
So somebody used that analogy for Anfernee Simons, and Damian Lillard was the Dean Smith. That's how much this person believed in Anfernee Simons.
Wow.
That the only reason you aren't seeing him do this stuff, what we're seeing right now, regularly, is because the role needed to do this stuff is as a starting guard.
That's fair.
And in 2 games?
2 losses.
No, 1 win, 1 loss. Big loss.
Oh, yeah. Touche.
But.
No, but I see your point. I don't know. Like, this is the tough thing, too, with him getting better. I don't know what to do with him. Like, this has got to be hard for Joe Cronin, right?
Yeah, because could he be the dude?
He could be a dude. But
a dude.
He could also, at best, be what he was tonight, which was good, and would be a very valuable player for a lot of teams that could give you maybe some assets. Like, I really, we've talked enough about Neil. I do not envy Joe Cronin. I don't know how you go about building this thing. I really don't. I think it's one of the tougher builds in the league right now. I really do. Because your assets, the assets that we know you need to shop, don't have the value that they had a few years ago.
Yeah.
And the assets that you're accumulating and they're becoming assets are also you kind of like, shit.
It'd be nice to keep these assets.
Yeah, like, do I want to trade a 6'5" wing who's athletic? Do I want to trade a 6'3.5", 6'4" guard who can score? Like, those are nice things to have, but it might be the 2 things that net you some of the best return of anything else on the roster. Like, it's not an easy situation for Joe Cronin.
That's the trade-off. DSJ wants to know who wins in a 1v1, you or me. In
boxing?
I don't know. It's not specific. We can.
If it's basketball, I mean, you got to ride with yourself, right? Wouldn't you pick yourself?
Right now?
Oh, not right now. I wouldn't play you right now. That's like fighting a geriatric. That ain't fair,
bro. Cold-blooded.
Bro, you literally are like, I need a cortisone shot to sit in an airplane. Like, that's not fair.
Yeah, no, it's not good.
I don't know. I've never seen you play, and you never seen me play.
I'm decent, but I can't move. So I'll even give you the nod here. Someone says, to my surprise, Greg Brown is only 6'7.5". Not true. Greg Brown came on here and told us he was 6'9". He said that the measurements that are all over the place have him like anywhere between 6'7" and 6'10". He laughed and said, "I'm 6'9".
And he might still be growing. Who knows?
Yeah, he's a big kid. So, but yeah,
Is there a reason we're not seeing him more?
I've tried to ask, but because of the COVID spike, nobody's allowed at practice right now.
That's odd to me that he's not. It's kind of Terry-like the way Chauncey's not playing him.
I have a reeling suspicion that it's just up here.
I have a reeling suspicion you're going to lose, and who gives a shit? Play.
I think we're getting towards that.
Okay, I hope so.
I think you have to deal Cov and Nurk first.
That's fair. Okay.
With Nance out, speaking of.
Oh, my God. Can we not? I hope for the best for that dude. I hope it's a sprained knee at worst. and he'll be out maybe a couple weeks and then be back.
No update yet. Just the one from 9 when they said he was not going to return.
When they tweeted knee injury out for the night, that usually is not a good indicator.
Yeah, especially when it's non-contact. So he came down on his left leg and his right leg was bent and didn't touch the floor.
It was bent in the air. He was like, oh, no. Not great, Bob.
Yeah. Rough look. Overall, these last 2 games went about as well as I possibly could have imagined. Remember I said coming into this 5-game homestand, I was like, if they're going to stumble into one of these games and get a win. I did not expect it to be Atlanta. I was actually probably leaning more towards Cleveland because they've got a lot of guards out, and they don't have a lot of initiators outside of Sexton and Garland. And
how dare you disrespect Dylan Windler?
Listen, man, I think they did move him. Him and Lamar Stevens were like the starting 2 and 3 the other day.
Did you watch that Grizzly game?
Yes.
That was good yesterday, man. That was a good basketball game.
The Grizzlies they beat what? The Suns, Warriors, Cavs, Nets? Was that the
I think they beat the Nets, and then the Cleveland game.
Those are the last 4 wins for the
Cleveland
Grizzlies.
was a back-to-back, and they came back and won that game.
Basically, what I'm saying is the Grizzlies are really good.
Yeah, especially when Ja Morant plays. Breaking news.
Yeah. So we've got Cleveland on Friday, and then is it the back-to-back after that?
I think it is.
I've got to pull it up because now it's screwing my head as far as when the schedule change hits.
By the way, Portland currently with the 7th worst record in the National Basketball Association.
So Miami, Cleveland, Sacramento, Brooklyn. So Sacramento's the front end of the back-to-back. And then they get those 2 days off plus a road travel day. So they play on the 10th.
Yeah.
And then they play again on the 13th. So that'll be huge. They'll get Tuesday, Wednesday. Because traveling to Denver sucks because when you get to Denver, it's like a 2-hour drive from the airport to the hotel.
I've never had a worse city to fly into than Denver.
I absolutely hate it with the
crosswinds. Yeah. Oh my God. I hate flying too, so it just makes it worse.
Somebody just said geriatric orangutan. Yeah, they don't live for very long. So I actually said to the doctor, to the surgeon, when he was debating, asking me as far as like what we wanted to do. And I told him, listen, I don't know how many years I have left, so I just want to get this done. I was like, I don't want to sound like morbid, but I legitimately, I just want my quality of life to improve and to have one summer for the first time in 5 years, man. And he just looked at me. He's probably in his 60s. And he was like, okay.
Listen, glaciers are rapidly melting.
I don't know, man.
This shit's over. Get me healthy, please. Just let me have one summer.
That's literally what it came down to. We won't talk about it much because I don't really want to highlight it because it was a rough night for him. Nas played 34 minutes, 4 of 12, 2 of 8 from 3.
Yeah.
10 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Wasn't the normal impact that we get from Nasir Little.
That's okay. Yeah, I don't want this to sound like I'm Captain Excuse Making here.
Mm-hmm.
Just sharing an opinion. He didn't get to play last year, folks. He got robbed of what last year was. I think we need to put ourselves back into the mindset of
he's young.
He is where presumably Ant was last year. Ant had some games and then Ant would disappear. And I think that's part of the learning curve of being a young player and finally getting some rotational minutes here. He got some minutes before the injury, before COVID, but once that stuff happened, it wiped him out.
It derailed him pretty seriously.
And so it took a lot of games from him. It took a lot of conditioning from him. Again, I know this all sounds like excuse making, but I'm trying to give this proper context. It wasn't a great follow-up game for him the way it was for Ant, but it's not a total indictment of him as a player. And I think we need to remind ourselves it's his first real year getting solid, consistent minutes. And now that everybody's injured or being traded, he's just going to get more burns. So I remember watching Ant last year where I was like, wow, this kid's great. And then he'd go 2 weeks and I'm like, maybe not as great as I thought, but now he's really good. And I think that's just kind of part of this in the evolution of development.
This is what we're talking about in the pregame the last couple of days. The opportunity to make mistakes, to have bad games, to have nights where you don't shoot well, to kind of look around and go, damn, what the hell was that? Because you know what that means? It doesn't matter because you don't care about the wins.
Yep.
Like, you never get past caring about winning. Like, the guys on the court care. The guys in the front office care. The coaches care. But in the grand scheme of things, when you're not hunting that top 4 seed in the Western Conference, where a possession, a quarter, 5-minute stretch, one game can be the difference between 3 and 5 and home court and not home court and all that kind of stuff, that goes out the window.
Yeah.
And that matters because Nas having a rough night tonight, you know what we do? We go, hey, it's all right, man. Get back out there. Get on the horse.
Bring it, Cleveland.
That's the mindset change from like what the start of the season and what were the expectations and all that kind of stuff to now when you go, that's the whole, like, when I talk about tanking, I'm not talking about losing every game. I'm talking about cranking up minutes of guys who aren't getting them right now.
Right.
And that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Malls asked, how did Nance clear health and safety protocols in the day? Nance had a not a positive test, an inconclusive test. And if you pop an inconclusive test and then you follow it up with 2 negatives, you can get right out. So that's what ends up happening. So Eric Fendel says, I think when Nas sets and shoots, he's good, but he was falling back and kicking his legs out a lot of time, falling short. He did. We were watching it in the watch party, and he did. His footwork was a little bit of a mess tonight. He rushed a few shots.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing that we were talking about. Actually, was that yesterday in the post or last game in the post game, where he was just decisive and clean with his footwork.
He knew what he was doing. He knew where his spots were going to be. And I think that's a really good point to bring up because we saw that in the live second half, the live watch party we did, or mainly you did because I wasn't at most of it. But I think that was a big takeaway for me. There were a few shots where you could see him kind of doing the fallback, slight leg kick out. I think that's a really good point to bring up. Those are little things he can tweak. He can see in the film when he runs it back and says,
he's not quite there yet to do that.
Yeah, I need to develop the confidence of this shot before I start doing it.
He's got to get like a year and a half, 2 years of his base shooting 36, 37%.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where we're sitting now. Obviously, the Blazers have the Cavs coming up, and let me take a quick look. Their injury report tonight. To have an idea of where they're at with theirs, because I'll be honest, it's hard to keep track of everything. Rondo cleared, but conditioning kept him out last night. Okoro is going to be out. Obviously, Rubio's going to be out. Sexton's going to be out. So they're going to be missing 3 of their top 4 guards.
Yeah, but we get Garland versus Ant, so that's
going to be a lot of fun. For those of you guys who haven't seen Darius Garland play, he plays like Damian Lillard.
Oh, he's just a man possessed, man. He's tough. He's a bull.
He's fun.
And Mobley, I mean, dear God.
Fight on.
I mean, I say this. I know he looks like a hybrid to me. I've heard a lot of comps, so maybe somebody's throwing this one out. I'm not trying to take anything from anybody, but he kind of strikes me, and maybe it's because he wears the short shorts, is like a hybrid of Kareem and KG, the way he looks, and then also kind of the way he plays. You know what I mean?
Like he just does. He just is.
He's just, he's legit. He's just like, that dude's a game changer.
I've talked to some guys who would be in a position to know, played that position for a very long time in the NBA, and they all said the same thing. He is going to be not just a star, but a superstar in this league. And they said they wouldn't be surprised if he won, multiple Defensive Player of the Years and was multiple time first team All NBA. And this is 30 games into his career.
And you've got a borderline all-star point guard now in Garland, and you've got a proven defensive monster in Jared Allen locked
who's probably going to be an all-star as well this year.
Who would deserve it too, because Cleveland's been one of the better stories of the entire season. So it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be another fun game. Cleveland's a young team that can blow leads, And Portland's a team that sucks enough to lose the game.
Cleveland doesn't have the offense, and so I might not take the over that night. But they've been wonderful defensively for the most part. Yeah. Jake says Danny looking like a young Bruce Arians. I'll take it. Screw it. I don't care. I'm married.
Super Bowl winning coach, brother.
I did see a lot of this tonight because the Bucks let DeMarcus Cousins go.
I did see that, yeah.
I don't think he's signing anywhere on a 10-day.
No, they said he's got a lot of interest in free agents. He's probably going to sign a season-long deal.
I wouldn't be surprised if somehow the Lakers ended up calling because DeAndre is unplayable.
Yeah.
Contracts are guaranteed on Friday, so there is time over the next 2 days before somebody, finalizes a roster spot. That's why the Bucks let him go, was that they didn't want to guarantee a contract and they wanted the flexibility to make a 2-for-1 swap or something like that.
Which I like that. I think that's a good move by Horst, but I'll also say if you go check Bucks Twitter, he was fitting in really well.
No, he was. He was giving them real minutes.
Yeah.
So I don't think Portland is going to take that flyer. I think if they do anything like that, they're going to go look at a younger big.
He wants to go to a contender. That's no secret.
He doesn't want to Larry Nance this.
Well, I think Larry Nance didn't know he was Larry Nancing it. So
it happens.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it up there. Thank you all very, very much. We appreciate you. We love you. Like, rate, review, subscribe, do all of the things. If you're watching here on YouTube on either live or on the replay, click subscribe. Help us grow the channel. We've got the live watch parties coming up. Again, I'm trying to get a couple of guests over the next couple of games to come in for the watch party. I'm going to see how close we can get to getting Justin Rowan in. If we've had him on the show, obviously, a couple times before. Rowan's the homie. Would be a good fun back and forth, especially during the Cavs game. Bob asks, how close is Zeller to coming back? Nobody knows because he's in health and safety protocols. That's what they keep listing. They won't actually update his injury status because it's the Blazers, and they're just looking to irritate people for no good reason. I know he's been back on the court, but I don't know how serious the work he's been doing. So we'll wrap it up there. On social media, at Jack Ramsays, at Danny Meringue, at Brandon Sprague. We will catch you guys tomorrow, actually. Tomorrow's the Thursday. We'll do the live show. We'll go, what 5:30, 6?
We have to talk about that after the
that
show. Okay. I might be becoming a basketball coach for my 9-year-old.
Oh, we could get live feedback from the practice.
Oh, they're gonna run suicide so they puke. Those motherfuckers are gonna be on the baseline. What are we doing, coach? On the baseline.
Tweet.
You want to run these girls off the court? You guys better get in condition.
We can't shoot, but we can run, baby.
Oh man,
love it. All right, well, we'll figure that out. We'll put out a time tomorrow. If Brandon can't make it, maybe I'll see if I can get somebody else. Until then.